Alright, welcome everybody back to another episode. If you guys are watching this one, you have already seen the title. We're going to do a step-by-step on how to operate Miss Dorothy here, alright? This is our full-size shooting star. If you didn't see the previous video, we went into detail about, if you are on the fence about getting one of these, what things you should look for, things like that. Of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to go down and subscribe. We got all sorts of videos that will be coming out soon about bait making and bass fishing. So, what we're going to do here is I'm going to fire up Dorothy from her cold state, right? She's room temperature, 72 degrees. We're going to make probably what I would call the smallest amount of plastic in here, which will be 2/8 cups of raw plastic, all right? The question we always get, do you warm up the plastic in the shooting star or do you warm it up in the microwave? That depends on, that depends on how much plastic I'm going to be using. Alright, if I'm using 16 cups or a gallon, I'll run it through the microwave. If I'm running more than that, I'll run it through the star. A lot of people don't like running plastic through the star because, it could be hard on the stir motors. When that material starts to go through its gel phase, it gets tough to move. Alright, I've had the fortunate pleasure of Miss Amanda, who's over here smiling at me. She let the machine cool down with the stir motors still going. I wish I had some of that here to show you. It basically turns it into, it looks like cotton candy almost. It turns it very fluffy and the stir motors will still do it. So they do have some ass behind them, alright? But what we're going to do is we're going to make the color juicy and some flatworms. But since I'm only doing 16 cups total, 8 on each side, I will run those through the microwave and pour them in. So I know with my setup, my microwaves, I can put these in each one of them and set them both for 16 or 17 minutes and they will basically be ready to dump into the star. So at this time, what I normally do is I'll leave the tops off. Alright, I'll leave those off and I will go ahead and set my temperatures where I want them. Alright, we were using that one earlier on to heat some stuff up. I will go ahead and set them both at around 315 to 320. Alright, so here we go, fam. We're going to do just a quick little overview of Miss Dorothy. So, both sides of the shooting star look very much the same, right? It's just two pots. You have an on-off switch for your stir motors, and they are variable. I'll show you here later. When I'm running this shooting star, make sure that's off, I will very barely ever get it above that setting. It's very slow, nice and easy. If you're adding pearls and glitter and you need to whip it up to get the stuff stirred, not much over half, if at all. But when I am running normal operations, it's at a quarter. It's very, very slow. Simple on-off button for your burner. Right now, as you can see, she's warming up, she's heating up. If you need to change the temperature that your burner is reaching, press the set button and then you can click it up and down, or you can hold it like so and it'll take off. Alright, and it is the exact same on the other side. In the bottom of these there are two burners that basically heat up the aluminum. Now this temperature that you see here, that is the temperature of the aluminum. That's not the temperature of the plastic inside. So keep that in mind. One other thing to keep an eye on when you are operating this, these little blue cords back here, make damn sure they are not touching anything aluminum. If they are touching any part of this base back here, they will melt. They are not heat resistant, they will melt. Make sure they are laying back out of the way whenever you turn these burners on. Other than that, you can see the injectors in the middle. Since I'm running a laminate, it will both heat up evenly. If I was running just a single color, I would come over here and I would put it over here on the single color side and just let it sit. Since it's a laminate, we will leave it right there. So, we're going to let that heat up. We'll pop our stuff here in the microwave and we'll get to cooking. Alright, so while this is warming up, I got a few questions that I normally get. At what temperature do you shoot plastic? That all depends on your plastic, right? There's different styles of plastic, different types of plastic. If the lower you can get away with, the better. I'll put it that way. Trial and error, you'll be able to tell. If you go to shove your plastic back in this pot and it's not wanting to go, you're probably shooting it a little bit too cold. But on the other hand, you don't want to be running it at 360, 370 degrees. So run your plastic as low on temperature as you can, especially for laminates, right? That gets a good laminate, all that sort of things. Now, if I was, say, I was going to fill this thing to the brim and shoot baits, right? I would literally either take the hose and start pouring plastic in here. I would set both pots, or a pot, or whatever, at around 350 to 360. Now, I know from personal experience, if I put 24 cups of plastic in here and I kick it on to 350, it's going to take me just over an hour, and I can come back and that material will be through its gel phase. It will basically be sitting there clear, ready for me to color, glitter, and shoot. So do experiment on your own. I wouldn't recommend going much over 24 cups in the full-size shooting star. You get much more than that, it gets above your stir, and your stir doesn't effectively stir it. And or, you know, if you put 2 gallons of raw plastic in here and it heats it up, it's going to be out here and on the floor because it expands as it heats up. And yeah, you're more like 4.2 gallons is what you put in. Do that at your own risk. Other than that, as far as temperatures, try to run them as low as you can. Every plastic acts different with blends, makes, all that sort of stuff. It's just a personal preference, what you guys like. Listen to what your injectors tell you as far as if they're moving or not. If you're drawing a lot of air, that sort of thing. If you've gotten to this point, you've probably already got your shooting star set up, but if you haven't, go check out Ultra Molds on YouTube. They give videos on how to install, put together, recommendations, stuff like that, right? With all these injector holds, you know, you want these to be tight. You should have to work to get it in there, right? It does not move. Actually, on some of them, this one over here, the whole shooting star pot, I literally have to push over. It's tight, okay? You don't want to be drawing up plastic or drawing up air. You want to draw up plastic. You don't want to draw up air when you're sucking that injector fluid. Other questions we get is, why is your shooting star leaning? I don't know if you can tell it on the camera or not, but I've literally got this shooting star laying face down, right? It is not level. Why is that? Full-size shooting star has 2 holes, and they're both on this side of the pots. I don't know if you saw that earlier or not, but they're 2 small holes, and the bottom of these pots are flat. I wish I had a puck over here, which I do. Hold on. This is why. If you can see this puck, it is thicker on this side, and of course it is on this side. So it was laying in there like that. You want to try to get as much plastic to that hole so you have less of this left over when you clean out. That is why you'll see some guys lean their pots. Does that affect your glitter suspension with your stirrer motors? No, not a bit. You still get the same amount of glitter, everything like that, whenever you shoot. Many shooting stars, I think they have a cone in the bottom of them. I do not know for sure. I am not 100% sure on that. If you know, if you have one, leave a comment down below. Let everybody know. But these full-size shooting stars are flat. O-rings, how often do I change the O-rings? Not very often at all. I'll try to leave a comment down below with all the O-ring parts list for this thing. I've got all the O-rings here. So if you've got a shooting star and you're looking for a parts list for this thing, O-rings is all you really should be changing, or you've probably messed something up. Stirrer motors, they got parts numbers on them, all that sort of stuff. If you got any questions as far as ordering parts, give Ultra Molds a call. I can't order the parts for you. Other than that, I mean, the shooting star is a pretty simple to use process, machine, whatever you want to call it. One last thing I do see is on the back of the burners back here. Some people ask, do you dial those into a certain temperature? Those are kind of what I would call a fail-safe. I run them on 400 degrees. I set them to max and leave them. I let all the temperature control happen up here. Now, if you all of a sudden have a problem with your probe or anything in the back where your temperature goes shot, then you can literally turn on the burner, turn this instrument gauge to 400, to high, whatever it is, and then you can set your temperature in the back with the dial back there. You can set it to 350, you can set it to 320, and it will automatically turn it on and off back there. All you're doing is supplying power from the control board to it, and it will automatically do the temperature readout for you. So you have two ways to control your temperature. I always do it with the dial in the front because I'm lazy. That's just me. Do you have to run both pods at the same time? No, of course not. Many times I'll just kick this burner on, run this temperature over here. This one will still stay at room temperature, or it might start creeping up because the heat transfer comes over and gets into this pot. It will get up to 120 degrees if you've got this one on. But no, they are independent. You do not need to run both of them at the same time. You do have to have them. You have to have both of them plugged in for it to work at full capacity. But that's really it, guys. You got temperature control. You got motor control. That's it. You just put plastic in it, get your glitter and everything the way you want. You're golden. Alright fam, so something that a lot of people don't talk about are all the little odds and ends and tools that you might need in order to help clean or service or work on your shooting star. There's a few things. Of course, just Clorox cleaning wipes. I mean, this works great on the inside of the pots, getting rid of glitter and all that sort of stuff. The plastic, just cleaning wipes, pretty general purpose. Along with just a standard rag. You can use blue shop towels if you want to. Here's one important part. This is for cleaning as well. Just your plastic spatulas, plastic putty knives. They are not heat resistant. If you can tell, if it'll focus for me, it is cracked. It's had a good life. Probably need to replace it. But that is for scraping all of your glitter and everything out of the bottom of the shooting star, and also works for cleaning stuff off the table really quick. Another one everybody knows, if it's supposed to move but it doesn't, squirt a little WD on it. This helps get rid of the glitter in the bottom as well. Set of standard Allen wrenches for multiple uses. Another tool that is very handy is an O-ring removal tool. Right, you can get it in some tight places, clean some plastic out. I use these quite a bit. Socket set. I don't have the whole set here for taking apart your injector and standard maintenance. Pair of needle nose pliers. Every fisherman's got them, right? I use this for moving the valve inside of here manually. Now, if you watch the cleaning video, I'll show you how to do this to let the plastic dribble out so you don't get any burnt plastic. But use these very carefully. Another thing I like to use is the syringe. See, this one holds 20 cc's. This is just for putting plastic colorant in the shooting star. You got larger volumes, you need a larger way to measure it. Same thing, just another measuring device for your glitter. The digital thermometer, you can use infrared, not quite as accurate, but go pick up one of these just to double check to make sure that you're getting the right readings. And of course, you're going to be down here for a while shooting plastic. You need a Bluetooth speaker and some tunes, because you're going to rock out. So one other thing I mentioned that you will need as far as tools is this right here, is a syringe. Why? Unless you want to sit around and count drops for 3 hours, alright, I'll let you in on a little secret. 30 drops of colorant is 1 cc in an injector, right? So if you know alright, here's no secret. Green pumpkin takes 30 drops per cup to get the color ratio that you want. Alright, I know if I'm going to make 24 cups of green pumpkin in one side, alright, that only goes to 20, but that's how much I would suck up 24 cc's of green pumpkin, or pour it in there, and then literally shoot that right into the plastic instead of sitting here with a bottle, counting. So you want little tips of the trade, there you go. These are a must-have. Get them on Amazon, local farm stores, wherever. But you'll want to find those if you are in the market for a shooting star. Alrighty. About time to get this party started. So, we've got plastic going off. It should be ready to get poured into Dorothy here. Alright, she is up to temperature. We're going to put 8 cups in each side. And that's that. Now this again, make sure that once you put these on here, that your blue lines in the back are not touching anything aluminum. Go ahead and turn the motor on. Same thing for here. Rinse and repeat. We are good. So there's 8 cups in each side. Now all that is left is to add your glitter, add your color. I usually add it in the pots, not in the Pyrex, just for easy cleaning the Pyrex later. So this is usually the part where you grab your favorite energy drink, you crank the tunes, and you get to shooting some plastic. But there is still one little thing I like to do, personal preference again, before you get started. Turn your stirrer motors back down. Take your injector. Now yes, this has a handle on it. I cannot remember where I got the handle, but I will try to leave a comment down below where I got this. So this is a laminate, right? One, use gloves, of course. This injector should be the same temperature as your plastic. That's what one thing that makes shooting stars so nice. But one thing you need to do, I'll go ahead and suck up a little plastic. Basically, I'm just trying to get my injector hot. The worst thing you can do is suck this injector full of plastic and your injector be cold, because then you've got to take the injector completely apart and get the plastic out of it. It helps, basically it helps get everything just warmed up, ready to move, gets it ready for use. If you've got good ears, if you're sucking up air, you'll hear it when you shoot it back in. So, I'm pretty confident the injector is nice and warm. We're ready to shoot some baits. And it's no different than a dual injector, anything else like that. Turn it, lock it. Yes, you will get some mess come out of your opening there. That's normal. Come over here, shoot your baits. These 2 molds basically take a full injector by the time you top it off. And you see the plastic starting to get a little stiff. Well, you might have to come back over here. If you don't have anything left to top off with, shoot it in. And if your injector is warm, you can suck it up. And you can literally just lay your injector down. And when your molds are ready for some more topping off, just go ahead and hit them. Now, yes, you can lay your injector down like that. Don't walk away. And again, you'll have to take your injector apart if it sets up inside of it. The nice thing about the Star, put it back on here, shoot the plastic back in the machine. Now, here's the trick with running laminates. The injector does not fit just one way. You can put it in here either way. Alright, you do not want to draw up your plastic, go shoot your molds, and then come over here and put your injector in the wrong way. If I was to shove this in, now I would put my purple in my green and my green in my purple and mess up the whole lot. So you need to remember which way you put this injector on. For me, that's easy. I've got a handle. Handle's always towards me. If you do not have a handle, some guys will take a Sharpie and literally draw on this one tube, right? Yes, that helps. 2, the Sharpie mark will rub off because you're sitting here grabbing hold of the damn thing. Make sure you remember which side is which. Okay. Take a look at these. That is our 4-inch flatworm in the color Juicy from Lake Cave Customs. Check that out. Oh, let everybody enjoy Miss Amanda and all the packaging glory that we must do. The 4-inch flatworms we offer. There's a whole bunch more. You love packaging, don't you, honey? Yeah, there's the smile we all know. You should be getting low on plastic. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but I was sucking air. And one little tip I'll give you. With this shooting star laying like it is, I know from experience, and look at these two little dials here, right? And you can put a Sharpie mark on it if you want to, but I just know that when this gets to a certain point where the orientation of my stir is inside. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling up plastic, and all of a sudden I feel the injector pulse. That's because the stir motor literally wiped the plastic away from the port where this thing's sucking in, so all of a sudden you just sucked air a little bit, and you'll feel it every time the wiper goes around. Easy way around that, right? So I know by my orientation up here, I know when to turn the stir motor off so that the stir is pointed away from my hole, and that is going to be right here for that one, and right there for that one. So now both my stir motors are pointed away from my pickup inside the cans. Now, one thing you want to be careful though, I still have my burners on. You do not want to leave it like this, because basically the glitter is now starting to sink in your plastic, and it will overheat and you will start to yellow your plastic or get it too hot. So you got to be careful with this. So I know all my plastic is sitting here. Now I can go ahead and draw up my injector with no worry of sucking air this time. Typically, I know I can draw up twice like this at a decent rate before I'm pretty well screwed and I'm just out of plastic. Some people get to this point, they shut it down, and they let it cool off. Well, you'll end up with some pretty large pucks that come out of your shooting star. This is why I lean the shooting star, and a lot of others do as well, is to help get as much plastic out of this thing. So I'll go ahead and shoot what little I got left. Now I know with my molds I'll have to draw up again. And now that I'm done, I'll go ahead and turn my stir motors back on so that glitter stays up into the column of plastic, if you will. But this is just some things to do when your shooting star is getting pretty low and kind of sucking air on you. Alright, so here we go. This is going to be the last draw up of Old Dorothy in the color Juicy. We're going to shut these stir motors down one more time. So they should be pointed away, and I know that this is probably going to be all I'm going to get, at least a full injector full. Take my sweet time. Let that plastic run over to the opening. And this will be it. At this point, I'll go ahead and shut my stir or my burners off too. We'll start the cooling down phase. Now I've heard before from other guys that with a mini shooting star, they can tell when they're really low on plastic because all of a sudden there's no glitter left in their color. Is that true? I don't know. Things to watch for. Hopefully I've got a little left here I can top my molds off with. But if I was a betting man, if I went over here, I just decided to draw up. Yeah, that's it. You hear all that air in there. So, that is it as far as running the plastic out of Old Dorothy. So what do you do now, everybody asks? Well, depending on your ventilation, some people will just literally take these lids and lay them back. Alright? Me, crack her open, let her breathe, come back in an hour, and she should be about back down to room temperature. So that is it as far as running the shooting star. You know, I'll come back here in 10 minutes and I'll open these and lay them back so the stir motor is not in the plastic. You don't want to leave the stir motor in the plastic, because when the plastic sets up, you are literally trying to pull that stir out of that cold plastic, and sometimes it doesn't go your way. So that is part 2 of 3 of Dorothy. Alright, we're just going to let her cool off, and hopefully the next video you guys come back to will be of us cleaning it. Alright, we're going to go through everything from cleaning inside the pods, cleaning the actual stirs themselves, how to get the plastic out of the runners in here, the ports, how to clean the ports, and just general maintenance, what to do. Sometimes you do just enough to get it back in operation, and sometimes we'll do what I call a deep clean. You'll get in there and you'll clean everything out, because sometimes you do get some burnt plastic in here and it's not very good. It doesn't happen very often, but if you do regular maintenance, it's all good. So make sure you guys come back for the next video, and again, if you like this content, go down and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you guys around. Hopefully we've got some fishing video coming out pretty soon. But yeah, stay tuned for part 3. We're going to give old Dorothy a good scrubbing.